Representative Snodgrass.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you for being here. Our county clerks are certainly super important to this. I have a couple of questions about your testimony, and then if I can, I'll ask additional questions. You mentioned the audit process that you went through in Washington County. What directed you to do that? Is it because you suspected fraud?
No, we have not suspected fraud. It has just been something to boost the confidence in our election processes and show our voters that our machines are counting accurately. Trust but verify, making sure that everything is functioning as it should.
That's the same reason we did it.
You're confident elections are safe and secure. You did this for the public who had a concern.
Correct, and we continue to do so.
That's great. The other thing I wanted to ask about, I just want to shout out to the bill that Representative Rosar and I had that would have removed those numbers from voter ID numbers. It did.
Somebody.
You might recall it got buried into another bill, but perhaps we go standalone next time if we have the opportunity. I want to go back to additionally to some funding issues. As you know, there's a prohibition on grant monies now that can help administer elections. And we have increased funding to local municipalities. However, many of them are telling us that to do extra voting hours, et cetera, to staff it, it's still a challenge.
Right.
I imagine that you would be open to a budgetary increase from the state to help with election security, administering elections, et cetera.
Correct, yeah.
Okay.
No, I mean,
yes.
Okay. And then if I may, I just want to go back to the naturalized citizen question. So this is a concern of mine because I have a friend who went through the process, and it was let's just say it was a challenging journey for her the first time she was able to vote. Just a lot of the things that happened. So do you offhand know how many people become naturalized citizens in Wisconsin every year? Because I'm happy to tell you. Okay, great. That answer is about 4,800. So that's a significant amount of people, I think, in Wisconsin. To your knowledge, does any database exist, either statewide or federally, that can capture their citizenship status in real time?
I doubt the State Department would share that.
Exactly.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, there is none. So therefore, it is possible that somebody in Wisconsin who is eligible to vote could become disenfranchised, not able to vote in that election because there's no real-time way to have that information.
Possibly.
Okay, thank you.
I see Representative Snodgrass is waving.
I know. I'm sorry Actually, I'm not sorry.
Oh, don't be sorry.
I'm not sorry.
Sorry, not sorry.
I want to clarify something. I'm going to ask some questions that I want clarified for the record. Can somebody who doesn't speak English, who is a citizen, well, let me put it this way. Can you be a U.S. citizen and not speak English?
Yes.
Okay. Can you not speak English and be a U.S. citizen and be able to vote?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So my concern with a lot of what we're doing here today is that for a lot of people, voting is an intimidating process. It should be the opposite. It should be an exciting, welcoming process. And I know we have clerks and election poll workers who do everything that they can to make sure that's the case. But the fact is, we exist in a climate right now where there's a lot of distrust in the process. And as you mentioned, there are a lot of clerks who are not necessarily clerks, but election workers who are perhaps not trained as much as they should be, or they were trained and maybe they weren't paying attention. And they might bring to the table their own biases. And I worry that when we allow hearings to happen based on conspiracy theories that make their way through the social media sphere, we are creating a climate where a non-white-skinned, somebody with a last name of Yang or Lopez, who speaks broken English and is very able to legally vote as a U.S. citizen, may face further discrimination or intimidation. So can you walk me through, in your training process, how you try to help clerks and election workers understand these things and make sure that everybody who can legally vote feels welcome there and not harassed.
So in my county, what I have done is we actually have express votes, which are they help people mark their ballots if they need to. We actually program them in Spanish and in English. So they have you can actually hear it in Spanish, and the screens will switch so it's in Spanish. We do that because we were anticipating that after the census in 2020 that we would be required to have Spanish ballots. So we preempted it and put it in our system so we're ready to go. I believe that someone's voting on a referendum and English is not their first language. They probably want to understand that referendum well because that's going to affect their school boards and their tax bills.
Right.
So I have done that, and I go through the training to make sure that they understand how those machines work. We also have these forms are in Spanish. We have other forms that we can post that are in Spanish, and we have those available too. Mm-hmm. So just because someone doesn't have that as their first language doesn't mean that they shouldn't understand how to vote that ballot.
Correct. Yes, and that's happening across the state in different languages other than just Spanish.
Right.
Thank you so much.